Hello everyone. Hello, this is Irene with SaugaTalks. Hello, I am so privileged today with my amazing guest, Baskaran, Ambalavanan. If I am not butchering your name, Baskaran, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Irene. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I am excited because we're gonna talk about HRTech. And you're the influencer and author and leader and principal of your own company, right? Providing guidance to your clients and services. So this is amazing, Baskaran, because frankly, I read a lot about HR tech. We're bombarded with all kind of digital transformation content, right?
Sure.
To highlight some industry transformations that happening out there. HR, affected by all the technology drivers, by COVID changes, by all what's around us. So, Baskaran, I do want to talk about HR tech trends
Sure.
today. Could you please, give us the view of the world of your own?
Sure. So, I think in the last couple of years, at least from the time the COVID started, right, every organization, people, they have to do have the agility to change, sit back and reflect and change. They didn't have a lot of time, right? When the COVID came in, everybody shut down, and the organization have to find ways of working instantaneously. They didn't have a 5 year plan, and so they have to do it right now. So if you look at prior to that, right, roughly about only 6 or 7% of the U.S. workforce were working remotely, just remote, and then about 25%, 25 to 27% were working 1 day a week, rest of the time in office. Then immediately the shift has to come, and then the organizations have to now look at what's our policy, what's our practices, what's our processes, and there is a thing called infrastructure, right? So we are all zoomed in, we are zoom fatigue, right? But at the same time, there's a Stanford survey. There are challenges, right? So only 65% of Americans have the ability to join in the video calls, the internet wise, right? I mean, it may look innocuous, but it's a huge problem when you see all these things in totality, right? So challenges of different kind, but the organizations have done really well. The workforce have done well. Actually, the productivity has increased significantly, right? So there was a survey like the company called Protoscore. They have done the survey. They have done from March 2020 to the previous years. They have seen about 41 percentage increased productivity, right? So prior to that, there is always a misconception, not at every level, but there are few managers always think hey, remote work means not working, right? And so they had a negative connotation about it. But I think the COVID has changed everything. Companies have find ways. HR tech, in particular, played a good role, but there is also a thing called WorkTech, right? I separate things in two ways. One is HR tech, where you apply for a job, recruiting, onboarding, payroll, you see your pay stub, right, your benefit, your request leave, they are all part of HR tech. And then you have the work text, the world of Slack, right, the collaborating tools, the communication tools, the project management tools, right? So and there are companies where trying to having difficulty having established that work tech make it work for throughout the workforce, right? So there are two set of things, and then having the ability, giving that digital dexterity, what I call, right? I think the workforce ability to adapt new technology or the existing technology and instantly just pick it up and go. I mean, these are all different challenges, Irene, but I think overall the organizations have done well and doing well. Where I'm in California right now, so we are in total lockdown almost since last month. So the state is open at the same time. Now the new Delta variant is also on the rise, right? And so everybody thought, okay, we are done, we are going back, but it's not. It's not happening. So there's a lot of challenges ahead of that as well. So organizations are thinking in terms of should we bring the workforce to the office or should we do hybrid work or how do we do this, right? I think that's a different challenges. And a lot of employees, right, they say, hey, if there is not a work from home option, I would consider quitting the job and moving to different company, right? I think because they have seen the benefit of. So these all the different challenges where we are today. But I am excited about the role of HR tech and the work tech, and the future that and the role it plays in shaping the workforce, Irene.
What's your take on the latest AI progress we hear about, here and there? Because I know that AI algorithm transforming recruiting, hiring practices, internal company workplace, like you said, right? So where do you see the major advancements coming from, and how fast companies ready to adapt some of those algorithms?
Yeah, sure. Because see, one of the things challenges the talent management, the talent shortage is real, right? And so you look at one stage, the automation is taking place, digitalization is taking place, and on the one hand, and then or you also have the gig economy, and so the organizations are really struggling for the talent shortage, right? And so the one thing, the technology AI certainly can help. I think it is definitely catching fire, but not at a large level. I think it is still catching up slowly, because one area where it currently can play a significant role is talent sourcing, right? In terms of identifying, understanding the position needs or the company's needs, and then matching that with the talent, right? And there are also there are companies that provide video interviews. I mean, the last 2 years at least, we have seen most of the job interviews happens remotely, like video interviews. So the AI components are baked into it. So now they say based on the responses, and the questions are different, and then the assessment is done. So in terms of sourcing, screening, identifying the right talent, interviewing, AI tools are really helpful, particularly for large organizations, right? When you're looking at small and mid-sized organizations, they may not have the appetite to invest right now, but eventually they will. But the large organizations where so much of recruiting taking place, and so AI tools are certainly helpful. Not only in this, right? So in every employee life cycle you look at, from from recruiting to the retirement, right? Every phase, technology tools can play a significant role. For example, once you hired, right, now you're no longer a new hire, you're hired, right? And then they do most of the HR system they call HRIS systems. Now they make one of the predictive analytics as one of the part of their offerings. But there are also tools like sentimental analysis or sentimental analytics. You have where you measure employees' mood and how they work with the teams and the cross-functional teams, and so tailor the responses. And so every aspect of employee life cycle, AI, and specifically AI, can play a significant role, Irene.
I get a lot of skeptical opinions that we're not there yet as a culture, because we still want human to hire us and human to help us to onboard into organization, because again, we don't want to be part of automated processes in a way that, yes, entering the new employment place, it's a big step. So
True.
let's not forget about sensitivity. Mhm.
Absolutely, I agree. Because I mean, even here now, Irene, so even though they use the tech tools like AI tools, the final decision still will be made by the humans, right? So the tools, and I always tell them, tools are tools. They don't replace you. They augment you. They augment us. They help us, right? The one of the challenges is the HR. The people who utilize these tools should have the knowledge, right? So should have the proficiency in utilizing those tools, right? I think that's a critical piece, because you can have a fancy car, but if you don't know the bells and whistles of it or how to use it, you don't need to know how the engine works, but you need to know how it drives, right? How to drive and how to leverage the vehicle. So I think that's what I mean by having that dexterity, right? Having that knowledge, having the understanding the implications, right? Having the proficiency. All these things matters when you have these tools. But the tools don't make the decision, right? They help you make the decisions.
Do we stand, Baskaran, in terms of corporate culture? Frankly, right, there is a lot of negativity going on, that people are not as visible. There is this kind of, yes, augmenting and machine with human, human with machine future.
Well, I think first of all, defining your culture, right? Every organization has the culture, define it, explain it, and then more communication, better communication, being transparent, right? Always helps. When you tell the candidates or applicants, when you apply for the job, hey, this is our process, this is how we do it, and then be transparent in every step of the way, the buy-in is better, right? The same case with employees as well. When you do a new initiative or new programs, if you communicate with the employees, make involvement. So not only the CEO, right? And most of the times people think the leaders make the decision and we are to, we take the brunt, right? And so involve the employees at every level, right, in the decision making discussion process, in the decision making process. So give them an impression whatever we are doing, it is for the benefit as well. Most of the times, HR or the companies, organizations, they sell the the feature of the tools, not the benefits of it, right? Talk about the benefits and what it offers to them, because all of us, Irene, you, me, and all of us, right? We tune into WIFM radio station, right? What is in it for me? What is in it for me, right? So I think it's very important in that sense to go and educate and help amplify the tools and help understand what is that objective, what we are trying to accomplish, and how this is to be done. So I think once we have that transparency, once we have the continuous communication, that should things should smooth out.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, thank you for this, Baskaran. So let's talk about gig economy. This is fun. Okay, this is future. We hear about it all the time, right? But how
Right.
realistic is it? Because I hear some stats saying 30% will be contractual kind of, yeah, gig economy work pretty soon. So is it really true? Because employment is really tight still. It's still here in the US with lots of benefits, including health insurance, including other benefits. So where do you think this new workforce that ready to take part in gig economy? Where do you think we're going?
Yeah, if you look at the gig economy, Irene, this is maybe the Ubers and the Airbnb has amplified it as
Hmm.
if. But if you look at it is happening since 1970s, right? I think this is not something new. It works in different format, a different form, different shape. But then the contract work or the gig economy has a long history, right? But the changing demographics, the changing nature of people, because you don't need to own a car to run a car company with Uber, right? I think the concept of how you do the business is changing these days. You don't need to own a home even to run a home business like Airbnb, right? So I think the model is changing, the companies, the way they operate is changing. So does the nature of work is also changing, right? But gig economy will grow. I'm not sure it will completely replace the existing workforce, because there are certain jobs you have to have be present, like manufacturing, those kinds of things, right? And so there are certain jobs we have to be a full-time employee or be present there. Sometimes the contract thing or the gig thing may not work. So my take is it is going to grow for sure. It'll grow, but then the actual full-time jobs versus gig job has its own advantage and disadvantages, right? For example, the healthcare benefits you mentioned, not all the gig companies. I mean, there are some laws and saying now in California they're saying that you should treat your contract, the gig people as an employee and then give them the benefits and those kinds of things. It's still under discussion. The point is, the inherent benefits that comes with the full-time job versus gig sometimes will force employees to take a sit back and reflect and see what is best for them. But in my view, I think this will grow. I don't think it'll replace completely. The gig economy will thrive for sure. So I don't think it'll replace it totally. That's my take.
Emerging tech. Okay, I'm excited to hear about, how augmented reality, virtual reality, helping leaders, helping company managers to improve their practices. What about hiring? What about showing the work environment, right? In VR studio, for instance, right? So making people really immerse into the experience before they can make the decision. I mean, is it too futuristic, Baskaran?
Absolutely, because I mean, so the more I'd say the companies are focusing on the employment branding, right? And so that starts from from the time you post a job to receive the applicant, how you treat them, and how you interview them. So that's part of the process, right? And so these tools like virtual reality or augmented reality can come handy in terms of positioning, giving a feel of what it looks like. There are companies already doing it, Irene, not with the technology side. They give you, hey, how is life looks at when you join our company, right? In that website, they put a video of, hey, this is my job, this is my day, this is my typical day, and so they already have these kinds of things in the web on the websites. Some companies do the walkthroughs, right? When they go to the finalists, the interviews, they want to show them what the culture looks like or what the day looks like. So these technology tools will enable them faster. This will accelerate for them to have a feel of what a company really looks like, right? So, and also not only there, even in training, right? Training is one of the significant areas where organizations invest money. So I think these AR, VR tools can, amplify the training and take them to the next level. Workers' compensation training or the remote trainings. Employees love stories. Not only employees, we all love stories, right? So rather than saying do this, and if you say in a digitally in an augmented reality fashion, where people have the better buy-in. So I think with the advent of 5G, because this is definitely the AR, those technology needs 5G. So 5G is really big in my view. So I think that is going to change the way we look at operate how we operate those tech tools.
Exactly, exactly. You know what? I love bringing up the point where people, especially younger generations, okay, then they work when they joining the workforce, they can see the difference sometimes, and it's really even technological disadvantages of joining some of the traditional companies, okay, where let's say this young employees' life, the way they entertain themselves, the way they actually live their lives, is quite different from practices of some companies. So fighting for top talent, it does include showing that we are technologically savvy, don't you think?
Absolutely, because I mean, because look at the previous years, right? People used to work for 30 years, 25 years, 40 years of their lifetime, right? These days the longevity is average longevity is 3+ years, right? People don't have that kind of things, and the mobility is more mobility now. So it's not only important for the companies to identify the right talent, but also retaining the talent, right? I think that's very critical for the organizations. That's where these technology tools comes in, right? Rather than saying in person or doing anything, utilizing these technologies certainly attracts talent and helps them to retain the talent existing. Most importantly, right, improve productivity. Right, I think we can. The technology tools are can help optimize efficiency and productivity. I mean, they are not the solution or panacea for all of your problems, but certainly they can help you increase your productivity and efficiency.
Absolutely. What about learning and development? I mean, what about the new technologies and new practices that company is employing right now? Because employees feel that I need to grow, right? I want to grow while at my job, right? So what are the best opportunities there? And again, some technology drivers.
Yeah, yeah. So even today, you look at the traditional HRIS systems. A lot of vendors now they focus more on the LMS, the learning management systems. So now they have so much of connectivity, so much of offerings within the LMS, right? You can bring in YouTube, you can bring in TED Talks, you can do live trainings, and so even within that traditional framework of HRIS systems, we have brilliant products today that caters to organization needs. So combine that with a new technology like AR, VR, and then this is going to take dramatically change the way we look at trading, right? And also the flexibility that comes with it. You don't need to be present. You can be where you are and then learn the things as expected. So I think this is going to play, as I mentioned earlier when we started this discussion, Irene. These technology will have significant role, particularly in trading, augmented reality, virtual reality. I mean, they have a big role in trading. So I think this is definitely going to be exciting time in the next couple of years.
Where do you see tech is driving innovation? Because some of the leaders, right, we used to say that COVID drove digital transformation last year. Now that we're a little bit better, we understand, how to adjust the strategies, right? How to communicate with employees. What are those technological
I
drivers?
think when you look at first is the optimization, right? The having the employees giving the ownership of to the employees to own their own data, right? The employee self-service, and so that is there for last 20 years. So now the mobile functions, you have the mobile tools where employees can punch in the punch out the time clocks, where they can request a time off from the mobile functions. Most of the vendors provide the mobile app, mobile functionalities, so they can request that thing, they can use the pay stub. So what you would normally think you have to go to the office to go to the payroll to collect the pay stub, or better go to your desktop or PC and print out. Now you can see in your mobile wherever you are at any time you need, right? And so those kinds of flexibility that technology tools offers for the smaller and larger organizations. And there are tools today, say for example analytics, right? Most of the organizations do descriptive analytics, meaning, hey, how many people we hired in how many days, or how many turnover report. These are descriptive analytics, right? But now these tools are helping do predictive analytics. If A plus B is combined, this is likely to happen, right? So the advancement, the knowledge they have today, what is likely to happen. I mean, nobody is going to predict 100% because nobody's, only God can do that. But these technology can help you to get there, like 70%, 75%. So then you go with your gut feelings. But in general, right? So uh, even the traditional HR systems, Irene, they offer tells you, hey, based on the commute, employee commute, or the performance, or the salary they're making, in comparison to the benchmarking salary, this employee likely high risk. This employee likely to leave. This kind of information they didn't have. They never had a few years ago, right? They have that kind of availability of information today, and organizations also have to do a lot of work, right? Everything is data. You need to have right data, right? Whether it is structured data or unstructured, whatever that is, make sure you have the right data, because when you put the garbage in, what you get is toxic out. So I think it's important is improve the processes, make sure you have the right data, and then leverage those data to those tools like predictive analytics. Today we have prescriptive analytics also, right? Say for example, A plus B is likely to happen, and then the prescriptive analytics tells you, hey, this is what you do to stem the problem or to address the problem. So there are different things. And then also, as I was talking earlier, there are tools like sentimental analysis, right? Based on the keystrokes you do and how you respond by phone to your customers or clients or your coworkers, right? All the things gives, okay, Irene is today in a bad mood, okay? So she is pissed off, or she is happy, she is elated. I think these kinds of analysis information is available to the managers today, right? So the traditional performance, like once a year you come to manager meet, you say it's not no longer working, right? So the instantaneous or continuous review feedback is what is needed. So these tools are certainly helpful.
Let's change gears here, okay? Because we cannot have a conversation about HR tech or any workplace transformations without hitting the big elephant in the room, which is fame. So Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, all right? These are such desirable places to work at that, the hype is huge, young people talking about it, TikTok, YouTube, you name it, right? Because there is this
Right.
cloud of this ivory tower. Once you're there, you're golden. So, Baskaran, what do you think those huge digital giants are doing that other companies would like to implement? Or maybe not. Maybe there is this whole culture that, hey, it's not for everyone.
No, I think most of the organizations, the large organizations, they are investing heavily in terms of attracting new talent. Not only that, but they also keeping making sure that the existing workforce is taken care, right? So give them a career path, show them the where they can grow within their organization. For example, Walmart, they've been investing like $4 billion over a period of 4 years, training their back office workers, frontline workers to customer support and other things. So one of the things, what is happening, Irene, as you know, things are changing so dramatically. The digital economy and a lot of things happening. So the reskilling is absolutely critical, right? The current workforce, you have to do the reskilling and take a look at where they are, because new tools are coming in, new things are changing. So the companies have to adapt to it. That means you cannot. It's not like a switch you turn go tomorrow and say turn the switch to turn. So this is a long-term investment, long-term work. When I say long-term, not 40 years, but in 3 4 years or a couple of years, train the workforce to prepare for the future jobs or the future positions, right? So Walmart is doing it today. Even Amazon, I think they're spending like almost $700 million to train the workers to do the higher technical jobs. So the large organizations are investing heavily in terms of taking care of the current workforce and attracting new talents.
Fantastic, fantastic. So yes, we want to be part of the future where what kids before college, kids after college, mid-career people, people close to retirement, that they see these opportunities, like you said, for retraining, for getting new skills and feeling needed. How can we all together, Baskaran, work that technology is for people, not against people?
Well, I think one thing is keep your mind open, right? So, no technology. Think about this. Like when we were doing the typewriter machine, we were typing it, and then the computers came in. Everybody said, "Oh, the PCs have come, so everything in the world is going to end," right? But that's not the case. We have learned to be better at it, and then we have learned the new skills, and then none of us lost a job. So the typists have got different trainings, and then they learn computer or they went to different occupations. So the point is, go with the approach with an open mind, and I am a continuous lifelong learner, Irene. So I believe in learning. In these days, certainly one thing that can keep you, it doesn't matter your domain skills, what your domain skills are, but you also need to focus on the overall skills, right? What they call the soft skills, or whatever the skills are. So learn that, keep that mind open, and be continuously learning it. Don't be afraid of technology. Technology won't kill you. Yeah, the technology, see it as a friend, right? Somebody tapping on your shoulder, right? Not sitting on your shoulder. I think these three things I think will help you to adapt to the new technology as an individual, right? The organization level, the organizations need to invest money and making sure finding new ways, innovative ways to train them workforce, and make sure that they adapt it, right? The digital dexterity won't come one day, right? So it goes two ways. So it's going to take some time.
This is enormously delightful talk to me, so I'm sure audiences will find the value of it. So, in conclusion, in conclusion, can we maybe leave everybody with few takeaways? Because we did talk about HR tech in the beginning, and culture, and humans augmented, and tools, and big companies, right? And other companies just adjusting to what's ahead. So, what would be key takeaways, Baskaran?
Well, the key takeaways is, I think things are changing. So one thing is we need to be ready to change. I think that the best way to run the race is keep running, right? Don't stand. So you're going to lose it. So don't be afraid of the technologies, and so adapt to it. Keep an open mind, and make sure you can learn continuously and learn to work. There are a couple of things I always think very important, Irene. One is learning to work collaboratively, right? When we go to an organizations, oftentimes I tell my clients and my colleagues, hey, you're not paid to like anybody, you're not paid to love anybody, you're paid to work with everybody, right? I think the learning to work collaboratively around the cross-functional skills in the teams, right, and being able to build a network rapport with the cross-functional teams. I think these are the things that will take you in a good standing. That these are the things that will help you to learn a lot of things, right? If you are in HR, don't stay with HR. Go and talk to the finance people, right? If you're in finance, go to operations. Learn every moving parts of the business. It doesn't matter what you do, but it always matters how much you know about the company or product you do, right? I think those things are going to be helpful. That's my personal take.
Fantastic, Baskaran. Thank you. These are precious, precious words of wisdom. I'm with you. I totally support. In my previous career, I did love, talk to people from different departments, and they're just understanding, like you said, the workings of the business. It gives you this lever that you're not going to learn in school. It's only our right human ingenuity will help us to digest, these kind of cues and signals from different sides of organization.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we oftentimes don't understand the value of it, right? I think people are genuinely good at it, and that is my thing. So my thing is people are genuinely good. I mean, they can behave bad in a particular day, but nobody wakes up and says, "Okay, I'm going to screw everybody in the company," right? And then I'm going to damage all these things. That's not how it works. So I think understanding them where they come from and trying to make a balance will help. That's all. It is as simple as that. So
Absolutely. And these pieces of our work life is hard to automate, isn't it? This
yeah,
is
yeah. I think we live in a continuous world, right? It's not no longer 8 to 5, right? So you get your email continuously all the night, and so all through the day, and so mobile phone is always there. So there is no work life balance, right? It's like more of work life integration, right? I think I call this as work life integration. How you learn to manage these things, and so that will help you define you and your success.
absolutely Baskaran. Thank you so very much for your time. Fantastic talk. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Irene. So thank you for having me. I always enjoyed your show, and so this is phenomenal. Thank you. I enjoyed the conversations.
Appreciate it. Thank you. This is enormously delightful talk to me, so I'm sure audiences will find the value of it. So, in conclusion, can we maybe leave everybody with few takeaways? Because we did talk about HR tech in the beginning, and culture, and humans augmented, and tools, and big companies, right? And other companies just adjusting to what's ahead. So, what would be key takeaways, Baskaran?
Well, the key takeaways is, I think things are changing. So one thing is we need to be ready to change. I think that the best way to run the race is keep running, right? Don't stand. So you're going to lose it. So don't be afraid of the technologies, and so adapt to it. Keep an open mind, and make sure you can learn continuously and learn to work. There are a couple of things I always think very important, Irene. One is learning to work collaboratively, right? When we go to an organizations, oftentimes I tell my clients and my colleagues, hey, you are not paid to like anybody, you're not paid to love anybody, you're paid to work with everybody, right? I think the learning to work collaboratively around the cross-functional skills with the teams, right? And being able to build a network rapport with the cross-functional teams. I think these are the things that will take you in a good standing. That these are the things that will help you to learn a lot of things, right? If you are in HR, don't stay with HR. Go and talk to the finance people, right? If you're in finance, go to operations. Learn every moving parts of the business. It doesn't matter what you do, but it always matters how much you know about the company or product you do, right? I think those things are going to be helpful. That's my personal take.